Well, hello, everyone joining us on the Sky Sports YouTube channel. Welcome to Miami. You can see that Joe Weller and I have been joined by Tony. And you're the one that's jet lagged. How are you feeling? You've just flown into Miami.
I'm all good. I'm loving it out here.
Hey.
Okay. I'll get interrupted this time.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll just carry on. Sound checks are happening around us. Toby, how are you feeling now you've landed in Miami?
I'm loving it. This is my first time in Miami, so really excited to be here. It's a beautiful place, but it looks a little bit quiet to me, especially compared to LA after the JJ Logan fight.
Yeah, would you agree with that? You've been here all week. The buzz is slightly different. It's not that it's quiet. I just wonder if the excitement is still yet to build. It will happen once the two go face-to-face at the weigh-in here.
I think what you had with the KSI Logan one is both guys were, Logan mostly was putting on the show, being a performer. I think that's what he was focused on more than the fight, putting on the show, being entertaining. Whereas I think here, Jake always plays this sort of, I don't care sort of role. And because Gib isn't getting up firing, making fireworks, you're not really getting much. The press conference yesterday was pretty subdued, and we kind of, I think, as fans, we want to see more, of them going head to head and getting crazy to hype us up. So I think we're waiting for that, and I think today, hopefully, we're going to get something.
You know Gib better than anyone here in terms of, does it bother him, the talking side of it? Like Joe said, you feel that Jake Paul perhaps needs that to fire him up. Gib just seems to let it wash over him and just wants to fight.
Gib's a bit of a madman. He says exactly what's on his mind. There's no real filter there. Once he thinks it comes out of his mouth. I'm really surprised how he's not bothered by the cameras. He seems so calm and composed in all the interviews, all the press conferences, everything in front of camera. He's been very good, which isn't natural for him. So that just shows how confident I think he is in his camp and his training so far. And I think he's going to carry that into the ring as well.
You mentioned the training that he's done out in Vegas with Vidal Riley. Even his body looks completely different. Have you noticed the changes? He looks in good shape.
Yeah, Gib is someone that he's not scared of showing off his body. So when he's been big, he's showed it off, and now that he's a lot leaner, a lot fitter, you can see that as well. There's definitely a huge transformation in his build.
There can be no denying, though, that Jake Paul is an athlete with the wrestling background and other things that he's done. As a specimen, he looks in good shape, and he does look naturally. He's naturally taller. He's going to have a longer reach, but he does look the bigger man. Am I doing that down too much? Is it going to matter?
Well, 100%. You're right in that he is physically the bigger man. I don't think it will matter though. This isn't going to be, in my opinion, one, an overly technical fight. Technical fight, and two, I feel, we've seen with Andy Ruiz, Joshua, we've seen JJ and Logan. Logan looked the more athletic and all of that, but with boxing, it doesn't matter. It's how you use what you got. Who wants it? You can have all these great qualities, but if you haven't got the heart and desire to go through the pain and the, what Gib's going to bring, does it really matter? And I think whoever wants this more, whoever can put in the most work, be the aggressor throughout this fight, I think is going to do it. I think it's going to go to points, and I think it's going to be Gib.
Loads of people on our stream saying, what time we expect them to weigh in. We're expecting them to weigh in at 5 o'clock local time, so that's about 18 minutes from now, so stay with us. And if you've got any questions, make sure you keep sending them in. What about nerves? Does Gib get nervous?
1, 2, 3, 4, yes.
Having listened to Gib talk about his last fight experience, he said that he had the nerves up until the moment where he took off his hood before the walkout. And then he was straight into fight mode. He was ready for the event. I think we're going to see a similar thing in this event as well.
We've spoke about it already this week about peaking too early. Do you think Gib has been saying all week, I'm not going to get emotionally involved, I don't care. What about this head-to-head the last time? Do you think that we will see a push and a pull, or do you think that they will stay at arm's length and they won't get involved?
I think Vidal's coached him well, both in the ring and outside of the ring, in terms of he's going to be calm, composed, like he's been all week, Gib. I think the person that would push or pull would be Jake. We've seen him try to aggravate Gib, whereas he's not bothered about trying to get in the head of Jake, I feel. So yeah, I think we're going to get pretty much the same as a press conference, to be honest. It's going to be a little bit of back and forward, but fight night is where the fireworks are going to be.
What's the general feeling in the Sidemen group? Everybody confident?
There's a huge amount of confidence in Gib, and that's partly due to how we know he is, how he can be, his determined nature, and obviously our confidence in his trainers in his camp as well. So we're not really too worried about it. It's about what happens on the night at the end of the day, so we'll see what happens.
Have you seen any of the Pauls since you've been here?
Yes.
I bumped into Logan Paul's mum. She walked past us earlier, but that's about
Pam.
it. Yeah.
So Pam was hounded on our stream yesterday because she filmed Gib in the gym without him knowing about it and then produced the footage. He wasn't very happy, was he?
That's like, sure. I was saying that's not allowed. Like filming someone in a gym, it's like
Surely anything, well, not anything goes, but
I think that's against. He should report that. I think personally, I don't think that's right.
I wouldn't have that if I was him. I wouldn't have that.
But yeah.
Yes.
what about KSI? So his name is still being circulated, even in the comments. People want to see Jake Paul against KSI. That all goes out the window if seven-figure Gibber wins. But would KSI entertain a fight, do you think, with Jake Paul, if Jake Paul was victorious?
There's been a lot of talk about A side and B side and who's the A side.
Don't worry. You carry on, it's live. You carry on, we'd like to, don't worry. It's okay. You just made an appearance on YouTube, it's fine.
There's been a lot of talk about who's the A side and who's the B side. When you look at the views, the social stats, it looks like Gibbs been leading in everything in the build up to this fight. So when someone like JJ, who has the audience that he has, the numbers that he pulls, looks at that and sees Jake as even less than Gibb in terms of those numbers, it's hard to say yes to that fight, in my opinion.
Before I let you go, your prediction to everybody on our stream. Final words. I called you Tony at the start, and that's absolutely killed me. Toby, give us your prediction.
I'm saying 4th or 5th stoppage in Gibbs' favour, and Jake Paul's going to bleed. They're probably both going to bleed.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Listen, thank you very much for joining us. Look after yourself. Let's bring in, straight in, the main man.
This is the backup.
Andy, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Joe Weller.
Good to see you, man. Yeah, good to see you
So,
guys.
not everyone will know who you are on our stream. This is David Diamante, the master of ceremonies, a boxing historian, a cigar connoisseur, sartorial elegance. Am I missing anything out here?
We're here in Miami for Super Bowl weekend, great fight weekend, and I think you got it all. I think you covered it well. With two great guys here, big fight week, and really excited for this card.
Okay, before we get on to the world title fights on the card, just want to ask you, I mean, you were in LA, you know the YouTube phenomenon, are you enjoying it?
You know, I am. Look, anything that brings it, look, rising water lifts all, rising tides lift all boats, right? So to me, the more eyes on boxing, the better. Again, you've got your purists who say, oh, these guys aren't fighters, but I'm going to tell you what, if you watch that fight in LA, those guys fought their hearts out. Now, are they Mayweather? Are they Pacquiao? No, but they, you know, do they have those skills? No, but those guys fought really, really hard. And to me, really, what it's about is an even fight. And when you look at Gibb and you look at Jake, the levels are pretty even there. So I mean, they're both pro debuts. So I think they're going to bring it. So you're going to see a fight. You're going to see a scrap.
Okay, let's quiz you on the rest of the card. You love your boxing. As a fan,
Doing a little test for Dan.
which one are you picking? I'm looking at the backdrop there. And my little pick is Danny Roman against MJ, Merjadon Akhmadaliev. But there's so many, you can pick any of the 3 world title fights.
Well, I agree, but your pick is my pick. So I've been doing MJ's fights since he turned pro. Great kid, he's with World of Boxing. Him and Shakram Gievsov came over here, and these guys have just burst onto the scene. The 2 Olympians, they're looking amazing. You know, he doesn't have that big of a pro career yet, but he's undefeated. And you look at Danny Roman, unified champion at 122. This is going to be a war. I mean, it's really one of those classic cases of the youth versus the experience. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a great fight.
What about Tevin Farmer? Obviously, probably the most active world champion in the whole of professional boxing at the moment. Fair enough to say?
100%. I mean, I think the second would maybe be Jaime Munguia, but for sure, Tevin Farmer is the most active world champion in professional boxing today, thanks to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and DAZN. They've given him that platform, and he's doing great. He's a very cagey fighter. You know, people that don't know Tevin Farmer, when he first started, he didn't really take boxing so serious. He had a bunch of losses early on. The guy's been undefeated for a very long time now. He's a very cagey fighter. He doesn't really pack a huge punch, so that you know, sometimes that can be a thing. Some people want to see that big punch, but he's a great fighter. He's very, very rugged. He's very tough, and he's cagey. And Jojo Diaz, same thing. Jojo Diaz, this is his 3rd world title appearance. He had a great fight with Gary Russell, also an Olympian. He's got great pedigree, and he's going to come, obviously, to really cause Tevin problems. And it's a great fight, and there are a lot of guys watching this fight because a lot of people want these guys. I mean, Tank Davis has been talking with Tevin Farmer, and there's different things. I don't know if those fights are ever going to happen, but I know that this fight, the Diaz-Farmer fight, is really going to be an exciting fight to see.
Before I bring Joe back in, the last one, top of the bill, Demetrius Andrade against Luke Keeler. Obviously, we're here for Luke Keeler, the Irishman,
right.
But Demetrius Andrade, just on the verge of a breakout fight, but not quite there yet, even though he's a long-reigning world champion. If he wins well, what do you think the future holds for Andrade?
The problem with Demetrius Andrade is almost he's too good. You know, he is really pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, I believe, right now, especially at middleweight, okay? And so he just poses a problem for any of these guys, and I don't think he's an easy fight for anybody. So, yeah, Luke Keeler's tough, and Luke Keeler's gonna come, and he's a come-forward fighter, and he's gonna try to pressure him. But Demetrius Andrade has such an amateur pedigree, such a professional pedigree. He adapts. He can adapt to almost any style. He's very tricky in the ring. So he's a top fighter, and it's going to be a tough ask for anyone to beat him. And that's kind of the problem. He's almost too good, and I think that some of the top names, they don't want to face him. But I hope they do, because it'd be great to see.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you on stage very shortly.
We'll talk more about the YouTube later, guys. Enjoy.
Joe, come back in. Come back in.
How's it going?
Let's just quickly dissect some of what Toby Jizzle said there.
Yes.
Supremely confident.
Yeah.
Supremely confident.
That's it, really.
He can't say anything
Yeah.
else, though, can he? I mean, we have because of who we are, we pretty much exclusively spoke to people on Gibbs' side. So I think people probably think we're a little bit Gibb biased. But
We are.
well, no,
no, we're not. We're not.
But he spoke with such confidence. The sidemen are obviously backing him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think they see what this guy brings. You know, Gibb was arguably, from the beginning, the best sort of like natural fighter. Like when he used to spar JMX, KSI, you know, these other guys that he trained with from the YouTube scene, it was Gibb that was the best. You know, he would, you know, bash everyone up. So I think he's naturally got that in him, and the hard work, you know, knowing what Vidal does to his fighters. I think we're all seeing, you know, the UK side, we're seeing that Gibb, he's in the right place. You know, I think that's the biggest thing, that, you know, all we can really gauge from is the guy that we're supporting seeming like, you know, he's in the right place and he's ready to fight, and how he's acting, what he's saying, it's all the right stuff. And I just think Gibb's so ready, and he's going to do it.
Let's bring Theo Baker in. Theo, come and join us on the stream. 2 days in a row. Who do you want to call out today on the stream? What fight can we make for you after throwing Deji on you?
Deji, no, Logan Paul yesterday.
I didn't call anyone out. He put it on me.
So basically, this was going on.
I'm not fighting anyone. I'm staying well out of it.
I'm surprised you joined us again, because all we're trying to do is make fights.
So this was going on. So basically, Malfoy, aka Theo Baker, right? He had a word with me this morning. He wants Deji Olatunji in a ladders match, right? And that's what he wants. So we're gonna make it happen. Everyone in the comments, spam Malfoy versus Deji ladder match. Get it on Twitter. Get it on Instagram. We want it to happen.
I've not agreed to any of this. I've just come on and I was going to talk about the fight. I was going to give a really professional opinion because I'm quite knowledgeable about it all.
Don't worry. Very few professional opinions being thrown about here. Do you think we'll see anything different today that we saw yesterday? It was everyone was at arm's length yesterday. It was quieter than perhaps we thought it would be. It was certainly quieter than Logan Paul and KSI the whole of the fight week, because every time they came together, they had so much to say. Okay, well, there's people being beckoned into this. Ethan Payne, might as well come straight in. Come join us. Come join us. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm very well. How are you? When did you land?
Last night, about 8 p.m, got into the Airbnb.
How do you feel?
Not too bad, mate. Had a little 5K this morning, a little bit of a workout, and then mate, had a good little lunch as well. So ready for the day.
Have you been following any of the fight week? Have you seen much of it so far? What have you made of both fighters?
So I like to keep my ear to everything. So I've been watching all the interviews on all the channels, seen a few of yours, talking about bowls tournaments and all that. A few decent interviews this week. I just think Gibbs handled himself really well this week, considering that press conference was one of his first ever sort of real public sort of going out there. I think since then he's come on leaps and bounds with how he's handled himself, and I think he's come across really likeable. Jake and that, they always walk around like two-weight champs of the world. They sort of walk around with that essence of owning the place, which is always very interesting to sort of see happen. But I think out of the two, I think Gibbs come across the more likeable.
What would you say if someone asked you to break the fight down in terms of just chairs being... Theo, you're in the way. What have you... Yeah, if someone asked you to break the fight down, are you trying to stay neutral, or are you not bothered? Are you picking a side?
I mean, of course, you've got to stay neutral because Jake could have gone up to Big Bear and come out like some sort of absolute world beater. So you can never discredit that. You don't know what's going to happen until tomorrow night. But what I know from Gibbs' side and what I've seen of Jake already in the Deji fight before, Gibbs only ever had one style, and it's all he's known. And he's been doing it for a few years now. Vidal's known him for so long.
He said he'd been training for 4 years.
Exactly, for so long, before JJ. So he has such a bond with him. And he's been fine-tuning Gibb for a longer time than he has anyone else. Gibb's a volume fighter. He's going to come out there and try and bulldoze his way through this. Jake likes to pick his punches a bit more of a counter puncher. So it's whether can Jake box on the back foot for 6 rounds. And if Gibb lands, say, 20% of 100 punches in a round, it's going to look good for him. So who knows?
You two agree with that or disagree with that?
He's nailed it. Literally, all Gibb has got to do, right? Jake likes keeping you at distance, right? He doesn't want you to come in. If Jake can just keep going forward, get him against the ropes, get him in a corner, he's not going to be able to handle it. And yeah, he may roll out the way and slip and slide a few, but when he gets tired, when he gets into those later rounds, he's not going to be able to run for too long. Gibb will be too much. He's going to overwhelm him, spark him out.
Like in Gibbs' 2 fights, just to pull it back a tiny little bit, if there was one word you could use to describe him without being disrespectful, he's reckless.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. He will happily take 3 of your shots just to land one of his. Once you take those head guards off, one of yours, Theo. One of yours. Once you take those head guards off and you wear smaller gloves, the chances of someone getting knocked out are a lot higher. Does he have to just have some thought of what's coming back, or is that not going to enter his mind? Everyone keeps saying he's a madman. Is he just going to plough forward? It's not going to matter anyway.
Yes, he's a madman, but obviously they would have had to focus on his defence. You can't go through a fight with, obviously, Jake being a tactical fighter. He's going to try and pick shots. And if Gibb is left open, then he's going to get fought out. So I think he just has to be careful in his defence and just land those big blows.
My worry is, this is the only worry, is when you're in that zone, the adrenaline's going, this is the moment, you're not thinking, oh, what did I learn on Thursday back 2 months ago? Nah, I think he's going to revert to type a little bit. And when he's got to, when you've got to go for it, I can see him being very open to being hit. And Jake will be training for that. He knows that Gibb is susceptible to that. So that is the only concern.
I think at the end of the day, when you get into the ring and you're in that fight zone, it just comes down to like who wants it more, who's going to give the most out of the scrap. Like half your training probably goes out the window, and it's just that you're just fighting each other, and it's whoever wants it more is going to win it.
What are you thinking the future holds, depending on the result? What happens if Jake Paul wins, and what happens if 7-figure Gibber wins?
I think if Gibb wins, we call it a day, to be quite honest. I think YouTube boxing's called a day. I think the storylines have been completed at that point, and I think the Paul brothers have to go and focus on whatever it is they're going to do next. If Jake scrapes by Gibb, I don't think JJ even has to look in his direction, because JJ knows he's better than that at the end of the day. But if Jake does come out, flattens him, or wins by unanimous decision, I personally don't see it happening, but if that does happen, there's a conversation to be had. I don't think it would be any time in the instant future, but maybe later in the year, maybe a November fight. You never know. You could see JJ versus Jake. It all depends how he deals with the issue in front of him.
Has he showed any inkling to you that would be an option for him? But I think, is he flying in for this? Are we going to see him this week?
He's flying in the day of the fight, so tomorrow morning. Busy schedule, got a lot on this year, so he's still getting out to support Gibb, obviously. But that's it. I know JJ's mentality, and he's going to take on a challenge. And there's been so much said between these two already that if Jake does blow Gibb out of the water, he's gonna have to put himself through it again. He's gonna have to go into the camp. He's gonna have to prove again why they shouldn't be calling his name out, because whatever he does put his mind to, he ends up getting through.
What about Logan Paul? We're likely to see him box again. I mean, he was talking about Antonio Brown, which is huge over here. Eddie Hearn that was the first name out of his mouth. If Logan Paul fought Antonio Brown, it would be massive here. But I think Antonio Brown's got his own legal issues at the moment, and that seems to be on the back burner. Eddie Hearn also said to us in an Instagram Live earlier that the next one he's going to do... Okay, it's okay, it doesn't matter, we're only live, it's fine. If he's only going to do one in the summer and then potentially one in December, so that only leaves 2 windows available. Do you expect to see Logan Paul in one of those, or is he doing other things now?
He's pushing for this Antonio Brown fight. We're live, mate. Nah, look, I think really Eddie needs to get that if Logan Paul's going to be in a fight, it needs to be with YouTubers. If the YouTube audience are going to be invested, we don't care about Antonio Brown. This whole thing, he's big over here, yeah, but not in a massive YouTube sense. And I think if that's going to work, it either needs to be Logan Paul against Drake, or it needs to be a YouTuber. You can't have these like half sort of like G-lister celebs that no one really cares about worldwide. In my opinion, I really think, I want to see Anderson Gibb defeat Jake Paul, go against Logan Paul. That's what I want. Yeah.
I think what you find, like Joe's saying, is when you look at it, you've got these YouTube internet heroes that have such a cult following. It's like putting up two internet sensations against each other. When you take it away from that, it loses its charm. Like there's such a charm about these guys that have such powerful audiences that will really support them through the depths of hell, that they come out for events like this. They support them in everything they do. But I think it just loses the charm. And I think they want to push it over into the celebrity world. Yes, there would be buys from the maybe like American football market, whatever it is, but I don't think there's the real charm about it like there is for the YouTube events.
So there's loads of comments coming in saying, would you two ever fight each other? Have you?
Yes.
Have you?
Screenshot.
Like I say, it is live on YouTube, so this is it. We'll start charging.
Mate, to be fair, we said this before though, mate. We are similar heights. We are similar reaches.
What taller? Am I taller?
Wait,
Joe, why are you standing in a hole, mate? What's going on?
mate, to be fair, I said this to him before. I said if we used to have a fight, mate, I'd laugh, mate. I couldn't be able to take it seriously, mate. I really wouldn't be able to take it seriously. I think we just giggle at each other, mate. To be honest.
Are you tempted to do it at all?
Oh, there's obviously conversations to be had. There has been conversations to be had before. Currently, I've got other ventures I'm looking into. But you never know at the end of the day. It's a funny world to be in, isn't it? You never know what happens.
Good fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun getting in a boxing match.
Yeah.
I hated every second of it. I hated every second of it.
So you wouldn't do it again?
Couldn't think of anything worse, to be honest.
Wow.
But it's not for me, for other people.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is the thing, like, everyone says, oh, what if, you were offered this amount of money? Would that sway you if you were offered an amount of money?
I mean, it all depends how much money we're talking about. Seven-figure baker?
Seven-figure baker, let's get it trending.
For 7 figures, I'd box anyone. Loads of people saying, what time's the weigh-in? The weigh-in was supposed to start 2 minutes ago. You can hear actually there's an announcement in the background saying we're about to get underway, so it's not long to go now. Everybody also saying, what time can we watch the fight in the UK? It's 2 a.m, Sky Sports main event. Set your alarms, early hours of Friday morning. What do people want to know? I'm getting score reports. I'm getting score reports on my phone. Gillingham have beaten Shrewsbury 2-0. It's not important right now. It's not important right now. How do you think it will be received in the US, and how do you think it will be received in the UK in the YouTube communities, depending on who wins? Because there was something that you mentioned, I thought it was really interesting what you mentioned earlier in the week, that one of the things that Jake Paul's team have said is there is a rivalry between US and UK YouTubers that so obviously it's a natural rivalry because we have a divide between nationalities, but how do you think it'll be received in the YouTube community if Jake Paul wins, and how will it be perceived if Gibb wins?
To be fair, I think the majority of the audience want to see Gibb do this. He's the big underdog. He came from opening FIFA packs, and now he's here on the big stage. Jake Paul with his arrogance and his ego, we want to see him humbled in a sense. Most people want to see that. Of course, he does have some fans, but the whole America versus the UK thing, I think is more between the fighters, whereas I think a large part of the American audience want to see Gibb win, I think, to be honest.
One thing we didn't get in KSI Logan Paul result was the meme. Yeah. That everybody, like, if you get knocked out, you'll be a meme for life. What, this is quite tough. It is a bit of a tough question, but it is a thing that it's been built up so much. If the loser of this fight loses by knockout, the problems that come with that are what?
I think it's worse for Jake because of his ego and his arrogance and what he says, whereas Gibb, even getting to this point, is like, wow, mate, fair play. Like, you're not meant to be here on paper. And the fact he's done this is already a big win. Whereas Jake, if he doesn't win convincingly, it's not good enough. I think people will still be like, ha, you said you would do this, and you haven't. So yeah, especially if he gets knocked out, he can't come forward being this, you know, arrogant, over-the-top thing, because everyone will say, yeah, but you got knocked out, mate, and it's horrible. It's not what you want at all.
Yeah, I hear about it every day, to be honest. I was going to say, if Gibb gets knocked out, right, it's not the end of the world. He's still already a hero in everyone's eyes. Whereas if Jake gets knocked out, every day for the rest of his life, someone's going to tweet him a photo of him like getting like he won't be able to come back from it.
The worst case scenario, it's not the worst case scenario at all, obviously. But one thing that was left open from KSI and Logan Paul was the fight could have gone either way. There was a controversy of the 2 points deducted and the controversy of also Logan Paul being knocked down, and that wasn't counted. So actually it probably created more questions than it did answers, even though we got a result and we got quite a humble post-fight interview, and there was a degree of respect. I did watch Logan Paul's video, although he did say he was ill. No. God, I feel like I've thrown him under the bus now. No, he did say he was ill. What we don't want, or what wouldn't be an ideal scenario, is if this is close as well. If this is close as well, just people just coming in. If this is close as well, it would leave it open again, would it not? Would we want to see it again?
No. Wait, go for it, mate. Go for it.
I just don't see with JJ and Logan, you sort of had the first bout to sort of reflect on, and you could see that these guys are holding themselves at a decent level. Logan was wary of throwing that shot out because he knew JJ was looping in with another one. So there was sort of an essence of worry about trading shots with each other. Yeah. This fight is a completely different animal in the fact that Gibb only knows front foot fighting, Jake knows counter fighting. So it's going to really depend on whether Gibb can slip that one. He's focused on his defence. If he can slip that one, get inside. Because if one comes, another four are coming. Whereas if Jake can manage to weave bang, it all depends who takes the most punishment early on. Because that's when I think a lot of the good work will be done. I think as soon as we get past 3-4 rounds, we're going to be in for a dogfight. That's what I think is going to happen.
Questions coming in. Would any of the other side men be interested in fighting?
No, mate. I couldn't see it. No, I don't think so.
Simon in the ring.
Theo fancy something.
Simon, but go on, down the lens, call him out, mate, call him out.
Hang on a sec. This is the third time. This is the third time you've tried to set me up. I reckon we could see. Who could we see going on? I reckon Vic versus Chip. That could be a banger. Vic v Chip, banger.
Would they fight each other?
I don't think it'd be professional bouts. I think we'd have to take it back to white collar.
Because boxing hurts.
Yeah, I think we'd have to take it if we want to keep the fun element and sort of stuff like that. Like if people want to make these fantasy bouts, I think it would be more white collar rather than professional bouts and a spectacle every time. Yeah. These guys have had this storyline building for a long time. There's a spectacle to be had about it. Sorry, lovely. But there's just some sort of like issue to solve here. Whereas if you're making fantasy bouts, just keep it fun, keep it protected, and have a laugh with it. Enjoy the sport.
Are you happy to stay with us, or have you got to get away?
Hey, I can stay here. I can stay here as long as I get to see the weigh-in.
Yeah, no. Everyone's still asking. The weigh-in is not come. Sorry, there's people waving to try and stop people coming in front. Yes, stay with us if you want. Stay with us. It's not far away. I promise you. The comments are still saying how long. We're late at the moment, so it's any time now.
What is the deal with Jake's belt?
There is no deal with Jake's
belt. So basically, it's a toy that he carries round. Is that literally it? Or is that up for grabs if Gibb wins?
No. I don't. The belt doesn't exist.
So this was bought.
There is no. It can't be on.
I think it's disrespectful how basically he's taken the amateur writing off of the belt, which is such a disrespectful move to the actual professional boxers that sacrifice their life and their whole life to this. And I just don't think he's so easily hateable. And I think when he loses, if he loses this, which I think he will. I hope he does himself justice in terms of dealing with it, because the worst thing you can do is get on that mic afterwards and be like, oh, I should have done this, this, that, and the other. This, win or lose, if he's gracious in it, this could be an opportunity for him to turn a leaf. I think maybe.
It'll be interesting to see if he does lose, how he, as Joe said, how he deals with it. Because remember when Logan lost, he went in the change room and started making excuses, having a go at everyone. We're wondering if he turns on everyone at his team around him, or if it humbles him and he actually accepts the loss. So I think he'll find it very hard to accept if Gibb beats him.
Yeah.
Mate, he's okay. He's okay. He's been reading the comments, obviously. Needs security. Theo, what are you doing? You're supposed to be stopping people. Just to touch on that though, but surely the controversy sells in any sport, in any walk of life. A humble winner or loser, being humble doesn't help, does it? Does it? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me.
He's a YouTuber, okay? And YouTube is all based on who likes you. You need to get views, blah blah blah. If no one likes you, you're not going to get views. And
but I don't believe doing something to make people like you, mate. I think it's more of just look, him putting on the front of like, oh yeah, I'm all this, I'm all that. I don't think genuinely makes him happy. It's a front because I think he's overcompensating for being insecure in some way. And I think this is a chance for him to show his, that he is a real person, a real human being that's not constantly putting on an act and say, look, I lost, the better man won, fair play. Do you get me?
Yeah, I think there's a direct correlation between less people enjoying his content, enjoying him, and his views dropping. Like, I feel like if he went down, say, the Logan route of, I don't know, he seems a bit more likeable and his views are still doing very well. I feel like Jake's taken this route which he can't really get back from unless he has a good attitude after this fight. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of humility in boxing, and I think when you have two people that have dedicated a lot of time to it, I think the thing the YouTube audience are looking for, if there is that sort of humbling at the end, I think people embrace that. You'll have the younger audience that will carry on the memes and stuff like that, but I think the older audience and the people with a better head on their shoulders will almost have that respect and say, do you know what, fair play, he's put himself to the test, and now it's time, he's handled it well, it's time to just call it a day, or whatever it is.
Theo, I'm being told that you've got to go and do something else now. So before you do, I promise you, I'm not going to put you into another fight scenario. Not going to put you into another fight. But will you come back afterwards just to give us a reflection?
Oh, mate.
Team Farmer. Look how aggressive you are. Your final prediction, final prediction. I know you've given us, people always want to know a prediction. So what is your prediction for the fight?
Gib round 4 win by knockout.
Theo, thank you very much. Apparently you're going there to provide security. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. He's gone. He's all right. He's gone.
It's looking like we're getting underway soon.
Yes. It does it? I don't know. I mean, there's more people here, and I can see all the fighters are around.
I'm excited to see the shape of both fighters, to be honest, because Gib, before he came out, was just cruising weight-wise. So it'll be interesting to see how he's changed in this camp.
Yeah. So word on the street is that Jake has been having to cut weight to make weight. When I saw him, I actually spoke to him off camera. He seemed very lackluster in terms of no energy, drained, and it wouldn't surprise me. 100%. Whereas Gibbs seems in the right place, and that weight cut, Jake won't be used to doing that. He's not had to do that really before for a fight. I think the Deji one, he was comfortable. So yeah, what effect will that have?
Yeah, you can't hide a weight cut. So that's the thing. If he is a little bit lackluster in the way he's speaking or carrying himself this week. I said earlier on an interview, I do think he's been a little bit out of character this week, considering the whole bravado that he usually provides. I do think he has been quite out of character. So it'll be interesting to see the shape of the fighters. I think Gib is quite happy with the weights that this fight's at because he enjoys himself whilst he's not fighting. So I think now he's got a healthier, happier body at this weight. I think he's going to be performing better as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they both step on the scales and what the actual weight difference is, because they're both going to refeed overnight as well. So we'll see what difference it will be on the night as well.
One of the things that both of you can contribute to here, both works as part of our team in LA. Just reflect on that whole experience, because it was the first time we've ever done anything like that. Look, you can tell me, but it felt like such a big deal at the time, and there's so many narratives. Shannon Briggs getting involved in a scrap at the weigh-in, we haven't even spoke about that. Shane Mosley is the opposite, just a totally quiet man of the gang. How do you reflect on the whole fight week in LA?
Mate, looking back on it now, it really was a spectacle that you're probably not going to ever be able to replicate. You have two titans of literally the biggest star in the UK YouTube-wise, and arguably one of the biggest. He had a little bit of a fall down, and this fight sort of helped him bring back up. And I will say, I think he's handled it incredibly. I think he's come back to YouTube recently. He's done very well for himself. So I think coming off the back of that, you've seen Logan grow into a better person. I think you've seen JJ move on to new heights now, pushing the career ventures he wants to go forward. And then you've also just got the absolute madness of what it left behind, and it left records, it left whatever it was behind. It's absolutely crazy.
I think that's the thing, when you got the two guys at the top of the game, for the first professional card, I think this one is always going to be a little bit more subdued. But look at it. This place is packed out. The vibe is starting. You feel it. The atmosphere's building. It's tomorrow. It's still going to be a huge event. Twitter will go absolutely bonkers if Gib does this. And I think, 100%, it's not 100% on the same level, but it is up there, and we're all excited.
What do you think the attendance will be? The Staples Center wasn't sold out, but it very nearly was.
Yeah.
You've been out and about all week. We got hassled on the beach because you got recognised. You went to the Miami Heat game, got recognised. There are a lot of people here that are here for the fight. What do you think in terms of people that are going to attend? Miami is a fairly unique place to come and watch a fight.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm not sure many UK fans would have flown out for this, but I've heard, is it sold out? I've heard it's 8,500 capacity.
I heard it was sold out, but I heard it was sold out from you.
Yeah. Oh, you heard it from me. Well, I think it is, but I don't know. But 8,500 I think is what it is, which is what mine and JJ's fight was. And that was still a big atmosphere in terms of when that whole stadium is going crazy, it could be 20,000, that's what it feels like. The difference here...
What's that like?
We're live.
No, you're okay.
Just literally pushing people.
Mayhem.
But
We're trying to talk, but at the same time looking around like, please don't walk in, please don't walk in, please don't walk in.
yeah, the difference is obviously like this audience isn't going to be a majority YouTube audience. You would have, because this is a undercard fight or co-main event, it's not the main event. I feel like it's going to be, professional normal fight fans that are going to fill most of this stadium.
I remember thinking when you said it the first time on our podcast, he's gone, his head's fallen off. But you said to me that actually, if the situation was right, KSI Logan Paul down the line could headline a football stadium in the UK and sell it. That felt like an absolute myth. But actually now it feels like it doesn't feel like people are talking madness. Would you agree with that?
No, I think, I said there's such a buzz around boxing in the UK in general. I think if you was to move that from Manchester, the first fight, bout, down to London, I think you would have sold the O2. I think you would have sold the O2. I think you could have sold Spurs, you could have sold Arsenal.
Wembley. I'm saying Wembley.
There's an argument.
100% Logan Paul versus KSI, the trilogy sells out Wembley. Mark my words.
There's that much interest now that there's been a actual winner?
If the beef is right. There hasn't been a proper winner though. In my opinion, I want to see a definitive, I want to see a 10-round fight. I don't want a 6-rounder where it can be, let's just go crazy for 6 rounds and just, the fight will end before it can really get going. By round 6, that's when the fight was getting going.
Yeah, you're right.
And in order for it to be based on who is the best boxer, it needs to be a length of time, a length of rounds where, the boxer can't afford to just throw the kitchen sink for 6 rounds. So I want 10 rounds, I want KSI Logan 3, and I want Theo Baker on the undercard.
Poor Theo. That's what I keep thinking, poor Theo.
And I'd like to see Deji in the ring again.
I'd like to see Deji. I'd like to see him turn it around from what he's doing at the minute. I mean, I'd like to see him turn it around. It'd be good to see him back in the ring. He's got good hands. He's got quick hands. He's a good fighter.
In terms of the comments that are coming in, there are so many comments relating to Deji.
Yeah.
Deji. Most of them will say, would Joe Weller fight Deji?
That's about to be made.
Well, maybe.
I think there's a Deji Well about to be made. But again, it'd have to be the right sort of scenarios set in place. It could be.
When I'm here looking round,
it gets you up for it, doesn't it?
I'd absolutely bottle it. No, I'm joking. It makes you think, look, could I do this again? Could I get up there? I get this every time I come to do these events, though. I get to that point where I'm like, yeah. Get back to, Eastbourne, sitting around with my nan, and I'm like, you know what, nan? I don't fancy it anymore. So, I don't know. I think if I was around the right people and trained by the right people, potentially, but at the same time, I've got this knee injury where I'm not allowed to do any running. So it's just health, redemption. What is the best idea? Comment down below.
So people still asking, if you've just joined the stream, you can watch the fight in the UK, 2 a.m, early hours of Friday morning, Sky Sports main event. No, it's not on Sky Sports box office. It's on Sky Sports main event at 2 a.m. And a lot of people still saying, when is the weigh-in? It's supposed to be now.
I've just seen Jake Paul arrive. He just walked past all the people in the audience.
Jake
I've seen
Paul
Logan arrive. I've seen Jake arrive.
So behind us, I know
that's
this
his
is
entourage, but I just saw him enter. So
okay. So
we
Jake
must
Paul, Jake Paul is in the house.
Yep.
Have you seen Seven Figure Gibber?
I spotted Gib earlier. Had a little word with him. He's looking forward to it. It'll be fun to see because this is the last real chance to get a word in before you really you meet each other in the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see if there is any sort of little bit of afters or something, just to leave a mark before you go to bed for the night. That's what I'm looking forward to, because the press conferences have been very much Jake talking about himself, Gib just being Gib in general. That's just what he does. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any sort of talking, any sort of words exchanged, and hopefully, you never know, a little bit of drama.
Yeah. So this, right? When you're laying in bed tonight, night before fight night, suppose you can sleep pretty well? It's rubbish. Well, for me it was. And that's what I feel like both fighters, maybe, just a little thing to plant something in the other person's mind to make that sleep tonight a bit more restless. Yeah. Restless? Yeah, restless.
Yeah.
I think that a little something, because tonight there's no more sleeps after this. This is it. And you can't fake it from now. No. We're going to get signs, body language and stuff that will show if they really are a bit stressed and not totally comfortable with this. So it's exciting. I can't wait. Come on.
Has Gib always been the same? Has he got an off switch at all? Is there ever a time where he isn't full of energy, or has he always been like this?
So Gib, I've never seen another side to Gib. He's always just the fun, bubbly guy, always has been. But it's when the bell goes, that's a different Gib in there.
Yeah.
There's a different switch between rings and sparring. There's that line and his go time in there. But outside of the ring, mate, is he as he is in his videos? Mate, just constantly on the same sort of level, mate. Just constantly. He's hilarious. I always say it. I love that man with all of my heart, because he's just such a good, lovely soul, mate. Yeah. Like he is. He really is.
Sorry.
People are asking how your nan is, because you mentioned her.
She's doing great. She's doing absolutely great. Thank you. But I do believe we have JMX.
JMX, come on in.
How you doing, mate?
George, when did you fly into Miami?
How's it going? I just got.
You can. Ethan is.
There you go.
Ethan's got a business meeting that he has to go to. When did you fly in? How long have you been here?
Got here Monday. I'm taking it in. I can't wait.
How's your jet lag?
So I flew from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
So it's not so bad. I've been in Vegas for the McGregor fight, so my jet lag's all right. In Vegas it was terrible, but we're good now.
What are you making of this whole event so far?
It's just great. I'm excited. I'm a little bit anxious because obviously I know Ali so well, but yeah, it's gonna be sick. I can't wait.
Which way are you leaning? I mean, I know you have to pick a side, but how do you actually see it going? I know you're going to pick Gib, but
yeah. So I mean, last camp I trained, not this one. Last camp I trained with Gib the whole camp. Ain't fun. It ain't fun. It's not fun. I only did it for 2, 3, 4 rounds at a time. 6 frees is a long time. You do not want to be in a ring with Gib for 6.
How tall are you? Your size and reach. Surely you could just stand on the other side of the ring and pop him.
It's just not fun. Trust me, I'm telling you. The way I see it, so the last time I fought Gib was right before his fight before, and the last time I saw Jake fight was that fight. And then based on those 2 nights, I think if Gib got in that ring with Deji, round 1 he's out of there. Personally, I think round 1 he's done, and that's the only thing. So if Jake's got incredibly better and Gib's not moved, then maybe I think Jake could take it. But I know that's not the case. Yeah. So that's all I can base it off.
Wait, as well, like everyone's saying, oh, Jake's so much bigger than Gib. All of this bloke's 6'5", and he doesn't like. Do you know what? He couldn't knock him out.
I reckon I bang harder than Jake.
Has Anderson Gib ever put you on the ground?
He hasn't put me to the ground, but he's made me hate my life.
Oh, really?
He's made me hate my life.
That's what I'm saying. Like everyone says about Gib being small and all that, but he is a bruiser. He doesn't care, and I think he will come forward no matter what.
Well, one thing that nobody seems to be talking about is Gib's engine. 6 3-minute rounds is a long time.
For non-professional fighters.
Yeah, it's a long time. If you're boxing white collar, you'd box 2-minute rounds, and if you're making a professional debut back in the UK, you would probably do 4 3-minute rounds. You would not do 6. 6 3 is a long time. Nobody seems to be talking about that though. Who does that suit more? The longer distance.
Gib.
Whoever wants to go first.
You go for it.
Gib 100%. I think I could see the first couple of rounds maybe edging towards Jake, but then that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope Jake realizes that round 1 pace, that's round 2 pace, that's round 3 pace, that's round 4 pace, and he's probably going to up it for 5 and 6 if it gets that far.
You've always got to be ready round it. Always got, yeah, you've always got to be ready. That's all great. That's great, everything you just said there. But how difficult is it going to be when that first bell rings to actually try and keep it together?
Well, that's the thing. That's where like the nervous energy, the excitement is. It can get too much, and you can either freeze or go crazy. I think Gibb will go a bit crazy. I do think Gibb will bring it from round one, but I do believe he has the engine to keep it going. We saw Jake in his fight against Deji. He got tired. He doesn't seem to have a natural engine like Gibb does. Gibb will last the 6 rounds, no problem, in my opinion.
There will be the key of who deals with the atmosphere better and who deals with the nerves better. I know you said so much about Gibb being just level-headed, but Jake Paul does seem like a pretty cool customer. I don't know.
Go for it.
I think also the thing is, Gibb's style, I don't think nerves will matter too much. You know, when you get nervous, you just go all out, you lose everything. That's his style. That's his style. You're more likely to lose your composure if you're a more technical fighter. Like, for example, in the Logan fight, he didn't really go for it enough. He didn't try and land the big shots because he got a bit. I think it's easier to be nervous if he's going to be nervous and be going all out, because that's literally how he fights anyway. So
the big problem that we spoke about it with Theo Baker earlier, the big problem that Gibb could encounter is that in his 2 previous fights, doesn't really fear what's coming back at all. His thought is on offense, not defense at all. Just how important is it that he does try and weigh it up? That was so loud.
I know, right? We're back.
We're back. It was a banger. You're right.
Banger,
but how he's got to try and balance that, surely. Like, worry about what Jake Paul is doing, not just worry about what he's doing.
Yeah, there's no doubt if he's the same fighter as his last fight, then as I said, I'm not sure I back that, but I know in fact that he has grown so much, as will Jake have, and I think Vidal said in his camp that he knows the defense isn't the best, and he knows that needs to be worked on, and from what I've heard, it's been worked on, and I think we're going to see that tomorrow.
How important is Vidal Riley to Anderson Gibb in terms of what he says, in terms of keeping his head screwed on, in terms of, I don't know, leading him through? He's a professional fighter himself, he's with the Mayweathers, he knows what he's doing.
Well, I mean, from an outside point of view, you can see, I mean, when I'm at ringside at the fights, commentating, you see at ringside he's so composed in every, corner, every break between rounds. In the corner, he never loses his head. He's only ever done it like once at JJ, I think, for 1 round. But I think the fact he is so composed normally, when he does lose it and he is angry, you know about it. Obviously, you've trained with him, you've been trained by him. What is it like?
I think it's, like he said, he's undefeated. It's that winning feeling. It's the fact that they've never lost, that camp's never lost. Yeah. It's a family, everyone's in it together. Yeah. And he's done that. He's not an ex-professional boxer. He is a current professional boxer. So he can transfer that knowledge literally straight across to what Gibb might be feeling, and he knows exactly how to guide you through that process, get you into that ring, and then he's giving you the tools to do the rest.
Any interest in getting involved in this whole, I nearly called it a circus, that's so disrespectful.
Well, he's already fought
movement
multiple times.
Movement.
I'm 3-0.
He's 3-0.
3-0.
3-0.
He's done MMA as well.
Yeah, Logan Paul said he wants it, but
I regret that I'm standing this close to you now. I mean,
I'm good. I'm harmless, mate.
I don't know. I don't want to upset anyone. Can I just say, Luke Martin has tweeted in. Joe Weller, the Carl Froch of YouTube boxing. When I fought against KSI in front of 8,500 people. I didn't know you fought KSI in front of 8,500 people.
What? I don't know what you're on about, mate.
Never happened.
No, it's true though. I just constantly bring it up. All right, let's talk about something else. The present, the now. Gibb versus Jake. What round is he going to do it? If it is Gibb or Jake?
4. I reckon 4.
Who?
Gibb.
Gibbo.
Gibb 4.
TKO or KO?
TKO.
I think TKO. I feel like it's one of them where it's not going to be a one punch bang. It's going to be a mauling. It's going to be bap, 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 and Jake he covers up and he can't take it. Referee jumps in. That's, clip that. I think it's going to happen.
Maybe a little towel?
Yeah, maybe a towel toss. No, but that'll be the worst. Imagine Jake Paul gets the towel thrown in, mate. I think that's worse. I think he'll tell his cornerman, no matter how bad it is, you can't.
But surely, is that not going to protect him at some point?
No, he has. Yeah, obviously.
It gets worse. Otherwise, he's getting battered.
Yeah, no,
it's a precious ego he's got there. So,
yeah, I can confidently say that Shane Mosley knows the game inside out. He's not going to let Jake Paul take unnecessary punishment. And you would think, as difficult as this whole thing is, that nobody wants to have a towel thrown in, that they'll protect Gibb at the same time. Vidal Riley's not going to let Gibb get knocked out if he's in danger. He'll throw the towel in. I mean, that is professional boxing. I know everybody's getting excited about this, but fighter's safety is the number one. paramount here, and Shane Mosley or Vidal Riley will have a decision to make. Hopefully they won't, but if they do, I'm sure that neither would worry about throwing the towel in. One thing that we spoke about earlier before you came was what happens to the winner and what happens to the loser. If Jake Paul wins, does that open up a fight with KSI? If Gib wins, does that end this whole YouTube boxing phenomenon?
I don't think, regardless of what happens, it will end, because people love it so much that there's always going to be appetite for it. I think Jake wins. He's gunning for that JJ fight. That's the one he's begging for. He thinks it's a stepping stone. Ali said himself, it's a mountain. So we'll see if he can climb it. But I think if Jake does manage to get out there with a win, then he'll go on to fight JJ. And I don't think Jake's as good as Logan anywhere near, personally, from what we saw on the first time they both fought. So I don't see that going any other way but JJ. And then if Gib wins, I don't know where that goes then. You fancy it?
Nah.
No.
Fun that. I think, look, what I'd love to see is Gib against Logan Paul.
Yeah?
Mate, why not? Why not? Like, I know there is that weight difference, like even more, but you know, if Logan trims down, which he could, I reckon they could both make 88 kilos. I think so.
Yeah, well, Gibbs already. Logan made 88 kilos last fight.
No, he didn't. Wasn't it 90?
I don't know, but he was 86 for like 4.
Just come this way. Everyone's getting moved this way. Just come a step closer. Would there ever be any appetite for Jake Paul to fight Logan Paul and people watch it?
I wouldn't be surprised if they pull that one out of the bag.
Yeah, the only thing is, I do believe in order to get the UK really invested, they want someone who they can back.
Yeah.
And in the UK, mostly the Pauls no one really supports them. So I think you need one fighter that the UK can really get behind.
Well, there wouldn't. So, not even the nature of two brothers fighting professionally.
We've seen that one before. We've seen the diss tracks,
They're businessmen, though. There'd be no interest for it.
Well, I mean, there would, but nothing compared to one of our UK guys against one of them. But the thing is, in America, I'm not going to lie, is the Pauls are the ones that we want to see our guys go against because we dislike them. Well, I say the UK dislike them, so we really want to see that fight because we want our guy to beat them. Whereas just a random American YouTuber won't cut it. There needs to be that investment of either dislike or like, not, oh, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? So just because they're a YouTuber doesn't mean automatically the audience want to see it. There needs to be that narrative.
When you joined us, you said you'd come from the Conor McGregor fight. One of the names that Jake Paul, Logan Paul have been throwing is Dylan Dennis. Could we ever see that, do you think?
I think that's silly.
That feels like a bad move, I don't know.
Yeah, that's silly talk. That's just egos going crazy, I think.
It's all being brought
Before I let you go,
of Mr. Eddie Hearn of
set it up for us. How are you going to feel when the lights go down and it's just Gib and Jake Paul in the ring and the referee, and just give us your final prediction?
I'm going to be somewhat tipsy and absolutely gassed and ready for round 4.
Round 4. Seven-figure Gibber round 4.
Seven-figure Gibber round 4. The beast from the east. All day long.
Brilliant. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to follow your career now. I'm sorry that I didn't know that. I should say, if there's any strong language on this whole feed, apologies. We're trying to control it, but it is a mad feed. So we're going to keep talking because they're just starting to weigh the undercard. Some interesting opinions from everyone there. We're so biased because we're getting the whole of the UK YouTube scene, but nobody's picking Jake Paul. Predictably, from that side, are we overlooking Jake Paul?
Probably a little bit. I'm not going to lie. When you want someone to win, you often see what, the good things about them and put down, what the other guy can do. But I think at the end of the day, Jake is a sound, fighter. We can see that he can throw a punch. He can slip, he can slide. He's got many qualities. But I think what we as the YouTube audience can all see, based on previous fights, is that this isn't going to be a technical fight. And I know I keep saying it, I keep repeating it, but we see that Gib has that heart and that desire, arguably better than any of us. And I think that's what it will come down to.
Eddie Hearn was saying that he's picking Gib because Gib's not very good. What he meant by that is he's so unpredictable, so unorthodox, that how can you train for anything like that? He actually conceded that chances are Jake Paul's going to be a much better boxer. It's quite an interesting opinion. I think he got slated for it when he said it. But it is quite an interesting take on it. You can't prepare for someone so unorthodox.
100%. I mean, it's the same with JJ. Like when KSI went against Logan, because he was so almost wild with his punches, you can't train for that, realistically. And I think that's what Gib will be. a mauling of these punches coming out of nowhere, being thrown where, you know, by the book, you're not meant to throw. And yeah, he's going to be so unpredictable. Whereas Jake, I feel like he's very textbook in terms he throws the almost like a perfect jab, perfect hook that you can sort of train for, that Gibb will have been going against every day. And don't forget, Gibb has been going against professionals in his training that will be throwing those shots that Jake's going to be throwing, but better. Whereas, you know, if Jake's been going against professionals, well, they're not going to be fighting like Gibb. Gibb fights more like a white collar boxer, where it's just, you know, a bit all over the place, but it works, and you can't really prepare for it that well.
Looking back on one of the other things that came from the press conference yesterday, we've barely spoken about it. Jake Paul saying that he's desperate to avenge his brother's, the Paul name. That's fairly interesting in itself that he's distanced himself. He's gone up to Big Bear. Logan's gone out and partied. If you've seen his Instagram, that man has partied. He will want to do it for Logan, because they do come as a pair, I suppose, even though they're two separate people.
Yeah, but is that emotional investment going to throw him off? You know, Gibb just wants to fight. He doesn't care who's in front of him. He doesn't care about the story or all of this media stuff. He just wants to get out there and fight. Whereas Jake saying, oh, I want to do this to avenge this, and I'm looking forward to that, and all this and the other. There's too many narratives going on. He needs to focus on what's in front of him, and that is Anderson Gibb. And I don't think that's all he's focused on.
This is his last opportunity to get a rise today. Something you said at the very top of the stream, if people haven't joined us, is that Jake Paul is looking for some sort of emotional investment from Gibb to fire himself up, wreas Gibb is doing the opposite. You believe that?
100%. I think Jake wants Gibb to fear him. He wants to seem intimidating. He wants to get that reaction.
We saw that at the head-to-head. He said today in that we've already had a weigh-in behind closed doors with the doctors, and I did catch that when they asked Jake how tall he was, he said he was 6'1", but the record that was submitted for his medical said he was 5'10". So what is the truth? I don't know. How tall is Jake Paul? I mean, send him in, please. How tall is Jake Paul?
This is the thing. When me and him did our spar, we did a face-off for the thumbnail of the video. Yeah, we looked the same height, and I'm 5'9".
I thought he looked. I don't know. He does look quite tall, but the American sneakers. Can I say that?
Oh yeah. We got a guest.
Leon, come on in. How you doing? Leon, we've been talking madness for the past hour. Put it straight for us. How's Gibb?
Gibb's doing well. He's doing well. He's looking good.
Any nerves in this camp at all? Because everybody, if you have got them, your poker face.
No, there's always nerves. I think being nervous is a good attribute to have, but you don't want to be overconfident. Like that, the Pauls were overconfident. If you saw the last fight with JJ versus Logan, it was overconfident thinking he had it. And look what happened when it came to fight night.
You've been around Jake Paul all week, though. Have you seen any nerves from that side?
Yeah, very nervous. Very nervous. He doesn't like to catch eye contact with us. But he's got a lot to lose, so he should be nervous.
They're two very different people, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI and Gibber, in terms of the two sides. Does that suit Gibb? Does that suit Gibb that there perhaps isn't that, I don't know, vitriol between them? Jake Paul isn't saying too much. He is trying to get a rise out of Gibb, but the verbal battle hasn't been as important in this fight compared to KSI.
I think that's because Jake saw how his brother was. His brother was too much on the entertainment side of the last fight. So I think he knows he has to focus more on boxing, and he's the last one to represent the Paul name. So he's got a lot of weight on his shoulder. Whereas Gibb he's happy to be here. He's in that mindset. He's happy to be here. He finessed his way into this position. So it's fight night with Gibb. He's going to be fireworks anyway. Like, as soon as he gets in the ring, like, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be explosive from the get-go. So I think Jake knows that's coming his way. I don't know if he's going to be tough enough to withstand the wind.
So behind closed doors, you haven't tried to sort of settle him down at all. Is that taking his strengths away from him if you try and slow down, Gibb down and sit on his shots a little bit more?
Nah, with Gibb, like, some of these fighters are set in their way. Like, they're set in their way. They don't understand any other way. Like, some people just like to go forward, some people don't like to go backwards. Like, some people can't go backwards. Like, they'll know forward. And that's the type of person Gibb is. He's like the Tasmanian devil. Like, he's going to be tracking him around the ring. The work rate is going to be very high from him. The output's going to be crazy. Like, when he starts to get the counter out and start counting how many punches he's throwing per round, it's going to be in the 90 to 120 region.
What about Gibb's engine and fitness? 6'3" is a long time. Does that suit Gibb or does it suit Jake Paul?
It suits Gibb. Basically, I've been training Gibb for a year, and his fitness, like, coming into this fight, before we knew this fight, his fitness was good already. So right now I was just training him. Well, I was training him just to make sure he peaks on the night, which he's going to peak. His fitness is very good. Like for Jake, it's going to be a long night for him because Jake ain't going to be used to fighting at this tempo. So we're going to take him to the deep end straight away.
We've seen in some of the build-up videos that have been released that Shane Mosley he's got Jake shaping up really nice, got him on the pads really nice. What do you need to be careful of with what Jake Paul's going to bring on Thursday night?
See, the thing is, Shane hasn't been training Jake for long, so it's hard to install a certain technical ability or a certain technical skill in boxing. Because when it comes to fighting night, for example, I reckon JJ should have beat Logan in the first 3 rounds if he followed the plan that we had provided for him, if he done certain things, but he didn't because the fear of losing, and he went straight into survival mode. And that's what these fighters are going to do. They're going to go straight into survival mode. So you need to know how they fight in survival mode and try and taper that. So I don't know if Jake has been in survival mode in sparring during his camp, so Shane knows him. But Shane's just going to try and train him how he trains himself. It doesn't work like that with these people.
Vidal was quite cold with us earlier in the week. He said, I don't want him to go for the knockout because I want to punish Jake Paul. I mean, that's quite a cold thing to say. But if Gibb does everything that you've seen him do in Vegas and down at West Ham and everywhere else you've had him, do you think he could force a stoppage?
100%. That's what I want. I don't want this long punishment. Knockout. Within the first 3 rounds, get the job over and done with. That's what I'm about. No long thing. I just want to slip a shot, throw a big hook, throw an uppercut, throw another hook, then a cross, bam, bam, night. That's what I want. That's what I want.
So I know you'll say it's not going to happen, but if Jake Paul wins, can you see Jake Paul fighting KSI?
Yeah, of course.
You think KSI would come back and not drift off into retirement?
Yeah, he would. He don't like Jake, and he's a man of his word.
What about the trainer situation?
I love that, by the way.
What about the trainer situation? Because obviously Vidal says he's moving on to pursue his own career after this. So, do you know who would go on to like train JJ? Would you?
No, we haven't even thought of that yet. We haven't thought about that yet.
Okay.
Well, I haven't even, but I don't think he's going to get through Gibb.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to get through Gibb.
Get
to the judges, then you never know. But
from the WBO,
he ain't going to get through Gibb. I don't think.
Just one thing before I let you go. What's it like training him? Is he everything that he is when we see him on camera? Is it ever a quiet day in the gym?
It's tough. It's tough because I find that sometimes he's more focused on the YouTube world of things and not the real world. Like, this is boxing, like, it's not WWE, it's dangerous. Like, you get into a ring, 10 ounce gloves, it's very dangerous. So it's not WWE, it's real, it's boxing, and it's tough. Because you've got to remember, like, a lot of these YouTubers have been making money from a young age. They ain't ever had a normal 9 to 5 or had a boss. So when someone's telling them what to do and whatnot, they find it a bit hard to do. But we're tough on them. It has to be. He doesn't like me at the moment. I don't like him. But at the end of the day, I've got a job to do. And I know at the end of the day, first and foremost, I'm an SSC coach. He's fit. And then I'm an assistant boxing coach, and he can punch. So our jobs are done. Whether you like me or not, I've done my job. So that's what it's about.
You don't have to like your boss. Okay. But I do like my boss. Very interesting what Leon was saying there. They're not trying to coach any of that out of Gibb, because that's the big concern that we flagged all week is would Gibb go off too quick? Would Gibb be too reckless? He's actually saying if you coach that out of him, you're taking away strengths.
I definitely think you need to like play to the fighter's personality, so the way they fight, but also how they conduct themselves. You know, if you start telling Gibb, tone it down, you know, talk more softly, be like that, he's not going to feel comfortable. He's not going to feel like, yeah, this is the real me. And I feel like they get that. Now, on the flip side, I feel like Jake is allowed to be too much, you know, he's allowed to do what he wants when he wants, sort of thing. That's the vibe you get. He's the boss. Whereas Gibb, you know, his coaches are the boss. They do he does what they tell him, sort of thing. So, yeah, I think that's a difference. You know, when Jake wants a day off, when he wants to do something for the camera, you know, anyone can hit pads. You know, before my fight, I look good on the pads. It means nothing. Honestly, it means nothing. It's just emotion. And when you've got a guy standing in front of you and they're throwing something back and doing stuff that you've never seen or, you know, not been training for, on that night, it does mad things to you. So this is why I believe that Gibb is more prepared.
Just to pull it back and play devil's advocate a little bit, is there any sense of overconfidence on Team Gibb?
Sanchez Williams, 6 rounds, middleweight.
No, I think obviously they're talking in a sense of, yeah, we know our man's ready, but they see losing as a very real possibility. They're not in denial. They're not delusional. You know, Jake says, I can't lose. It's impossible. This guy's a stepping stone. That can do things to your mind when you see someone as just, you know, there's no way they can do anything to me. If he does get put into, you know, deep waters where he's having to survive, how's he going to react when it's not going to plan? It's not meant to be like this. Is his body going to shut down? Is his mind going to stop working? Whereas Gibb, he's ready for whatever happens. That's the vibe you get.
It's been a big delay here, obviously. We were expecting this weigh-in 44 minutes ago. This delay, who will it play on the mind of more? Who seems more relaxed? I know Leon was saying there that Jake Paul showed signs of nerves. Gibb obviously doesn't seem to show any signs of nerves ever, but I don't know, all this waiting around is making me a little bit edgy.
Now, to be honest, I would have thought Gibb will be stressing a little bit, as will Jake. They both will be, you know, waiting around. They want to get this part over and done with.
How were you around the weigh-in?
The weigh-in, well, that was awful because I was trying to like portray myself as not the real me. I was trying to be all like, yeah, I don't care and subdued, whereas I wanted to be hyped in his face and doing my thing. So I don't think they're having any of that. I think they're both trying to, you know, relax and being who they are. But the point I'm making is this part is just in the way. It's just a hurdle. They want to be in their room, chilling out with their team, and just getting in the zone for fight night. They don't want to do any more of this media. They've had it all week.
Yeah.
It's you know.
That was one of the big things that came out of LA. That revered boxing journalist said, "You do too much. Yeah. Fighting is hard. You need every ounce of your energy. You guys, because you have to, because you're self-promotion." Mike, can you join us on our stream very briefly?
I've never met you, actually met you before. Good to meet you, bro. Good to meet you.
Good first impressions.
The way you guys turned up, the entourage that you've got.
I mean, here we are.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Listen, we're back in the United States. Oh, wait,
no!
We're back in the United States. We got a lot of people around, dude. What can I say, bro? And I mean, we got a couple.
Let's bring you in a little bit. We're losing you to the light there.
In association with A&T Events.
Yeah, let's get straight to it.
This guy talking in the back.
Does he not know he's here? Mike's here. Let's get straight to it. How's Jake Paul? I know did you fly in last night? Did you fly in last night?
I flew in on a jet that they all put together with a bunch of freaking
people,
group of TikTokers, porn stars. It's insanity.
Sounds like a terrible journey you had. What's Jake Paul like? You've seen him behind the scenes. Is he nervous at all?
He's completely focused. I mean, he's in the same kind of camp that JJ and Logan was in. I mean, it's on complete lockdown. He's not making content. He's not talking to girls. He's just completely focused. I mean, he's got Shane Mosley in his corner, one of the greatest boxers in the history of the sport. And he seems really focused. I mean, he's been running, he's been training, he's been icing, he's been doing everything he's got to do. I think he's in a good place in his mind. But I also think that Gibb is a animal. I think both of them are animals. I think this is a 6-round fight.
Yeah, everybody seems to think this is going to be a really entertaining fight style-wise. How confident are you that Jake Paul wins?
Confident, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think these kids are both, I think they're both animals, dude. I think it's going to be a really tight fight. I think it's going to go to the card, and, you know, hopefully it's not the same ref as last time.
Poor Jack Reese.
But that's the thing, like, everyone wants this Jake KSI fight. So if it goes to the cards, I'm worried that is it going to be, Jake gets to win no matter what. And that's not what we want, you know. What I can see happening is Gibb being the aggressor, you know, like JJ was. You know, Gibb being the aggressor, getting on top of Jake not being able to do it, but surviving, being able to defend, being able to cover up, it going the distance, Gibb deserving it, but Jake getting it. That's what I'm worried, like, could happen.
Yeah, I think we saw that in Logan versus JJ. I think in these more like, I don't want to call it amateur fights, but in these celebrity fights, it really is an optics thing. Yeah. And Logan did a great job of being a defensive boxer. He had some good counter strikes, but at the end of the day, I mean, the crowd, the judges are looking for these guys to come out like animals and throw fists, and so. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't want to mess with Jake's strategy, but you know, it's really going to come down to who's throwing those rocking punches like JJ was, you know, those big fucking showstoppers. So.
Before I let you go, is Logan Paul going to box again?
Yeah, 100%. He's 100%. And it's because he likes to. Everyone asks him, they say, why would you do this? You have money, you have a great platform. You know, the vlogs are rocking again. They're going great. Why would you do this? The kid loves fighting. He really does. And I made some early statements after the first fight that he doesn't have that mentality. He doesn't have that bloodlust that his brother does. But
wait, I sort of see that. Like, I see, like, in myself, I'm not a killer like Jake and Gib and JJ. And I see that in Logan. He's too nice. He doesn't want to hurt people, and he says that. So, you know, I like boxing. I like watching boxing. But to get in there and fight, I don't know if it's Logan's game.
I'm gonna wrap you both up because we're going to get to the world title fights. Mike, thank you very much. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Joe, thank you very much as well. You've earned your corn. Thank you for talking. Let's join these world title fights. And if you did hear any language or any content that you may have been offended by in any of that stream, apologies.
Now making his way to the stage, the challenger. He's a southpaw, he's a 2016 Olympian, and he won a bronze medal. As a professional, his record is now perfect. 7 fights, 7 victories, 6 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Indio, California by way of Namangan, Uzbekistan. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the skilled and highly regarded WBA #1 ranked super bantamweight contender, Murodjon MJ Akhmadaliev.
So you heard MC David Diamante spell it out there. Murodjon Akhmadaliev from Namangan, Uzbekistan. What a phenomenal talent. 7 fights, 7 wins, 6 inside the distance. And he's fighting for the WBA and IBF Super Bantamweight titles.
And Thursday night, he'll be appearing in his 6th world title contest, introducing the reigning, defending unified WBA and IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world, Danny, the baby-faced assassin, Roman. Now to the scale, ladies and gentlemen, MJ Murodjon Akhmadaliev.
So known as MJ. Like I said, 7 fights, 7 wins, 6 inside the distance. A sensational amateur sensation.
Undefeated Uzbek Olympian, Murodjon Akhmadaliev.
Really a meteoric rate of progress
and now to
for the Uzbek.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning and defending unified WBA and IBF champion of the world, Danny, the baby-faced assassin, Roman. 121.6 pounds for the defending champion.
So both inside the 122-pound limit. Daniel Roman, very much the quiet man of boxing, lets his fists do the talking. We asked him earlier in the week, why don't you say a bit more? Why don't you sell yourself a bit more? He just said, that's not me. I can't be someone that I'm not. But inside the ring, brings the entertainment. And I think the general consensus is it will be staggering if this is anything other than a firefight. Akhmadaliev, part of that real Uzbek movement, all turning pro now. Shakram Giasov, Shojahan Ergashev, the murderous puncher. Israel Madrimov also with Eddie Hearn. But don't sleep on Danny Roman, he's got the belts, you can see him on the shoulder there. An established world champion at this weight. MJ, so poker-faced. Good to see a handshake between the two. So many people picking that as fight of the night. We'll see how that one unfolds.
Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing USA in association with Thompson Boxing and World of Boxing.
Hall of Fame MC Michael Buffer has made his way up onto the stage. You know, it's a big fight if Buffer's in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now we've got another World Championship contest. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. It's all brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing USA, DeBella Entertainment, that's with Lou DeBella, and Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. Introducing up first to the stage, the challenger. This 2012 Olympian has a professional record, 30 victories, only 1 defeat, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former WBA Gold, WBC and NABF, and WBO and NABO featherweight champion. Thursday night, he'll be appearing in his 3rd world title attempt. Please welcome, representing South El Monte, California, Joseph Jojo Diaz Jr. Diaz Jr.
Jojo Diaz from Downey, California. 31 fights, 30 wins, 15 of those inside distance. Just got the solitary defeat on his record. Obviously tied to Golden Boy Promotions. And these two have got a little bit of history. They've clashed on a fight week in May in Las Vegas before Diaz's last fight.
He fights out of and represents the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thursday night, he'll be
It's obviously a 3rd world title shot for Jojo Diaz. He'll be so desperate to grab this opportunity against Tevin Farmer, one of the most active world champions in the whole of boxing at the moment. Getting a really good reception from the crowd here.
Jojo Diaz Jr.
Diaz said at the presser, make sure you sleep with that belt because in 2 days' time, it'll be mine. Farmer just looked back at him and laughed.
Jojo Diaz Jr.
Easily inside the limit.
And now to the scale, ladies and gentlemen, the defending world champion, Tevin, American Idol Farmer.
Tevin Farmer, I don't think he's made any secret
130 pounds, the super featherweight limit,
struggling
pounds,
at this limit. Always makes it, but he works very hard to get there. Looks fairly good there, though. But you just wonder how many fights he's got left at this weight before taking a step up. Still big fights out there for him.
Meridian
Obviously, the big one against Gervonta Davis would mean that Farmer would have to step up in weight.
Matchroom Boxing.
That's gone away for now with Gervonta Davis stepping up to lightweight. Let's have a look at this face-off here. Farmer steps straight to him. Some trash talk going on there, inevitably. Apologies if you're picking up any of that language there. Farmer telling him he's scared.
Rounds for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Jojo Diaz, Tevin Farmer, California versus PA. IBF Junior Lightweight.
There you go. At the head-to-head at the start of fight week, they couldn't even stare at each other without breaking into a laugh and a smile. Absolutely not the case now.
Matchroom Boxing, DeBella Entertainment, Golden Boy Promotions. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to the co-featured bout of the evening.
Okay, everyone on Sky Sports Boxing YouTube channel, this is the fight that you've all been waiting for patiently.
To the stage. He's a YouTube star, undefeated in his amateur boxing career.
It's going to be Gib. It's going to be Gib up first, Joe.
The United Kingdom. Ladies and
great reception.
Bigger Gibber, the beast from the east, and Eason Gibb.
Great reception. The Brits have made the journey. Most of the noise is coming from the side men, it does have to be said, but great reception. Right, first glance, what do you say? He looks happy, he looks ready. Look at him.
And now
here we go, Jake Paul coming through as well. Let's see
Will he match that energy of Gib? Gib looks so in the zone, so happy to be here.
Most relaxed man on the stage is definitely Vidal Riley. Seen it all before.
Yeah, I think that influence is so good on Gib. You know, he's a guy that is powered by his emotions, and this could, realistically get the best of him. But he's loving it. He's loving it. He's relishing it. I think he's in the right place.
And here comes Jake Paul. He asked to be billed out of Big Bear, California, by way of Ohio. There you go. Cheers for Gib, boos for Jake Paul, somewhat predictably.
Who are ya? Is what the UK YouTubers are chanting.
And now to the scale, ladies and gentlemen, and Eason Gibb. 188 pounds, 188 for Aaron.
Seven-figure Gibber.
The seven-figure Gibber.
All smiles.
100%, he knows.
The scale, ladies and gentlemen, the problem child from Calabasas, Los Angeles, California. Please welcome Jake Paul.
First thing you have to say is Jake Paul does look in great shape.
191.8 pounds for the problem child, Jake Paul.
Looking very serious. I mean, you can't question he is in great shape. He looks ready as well. You know, both of these guys, they look cold. They know what they need to do. I don't think this is just all for show. They're not putting on just a front. I think they know what they need to do. They know this is going to be a war. It's going to be hard. I literally could not wait for this.
One last little word in his ear there from Vidal Riley. I'm sure that was, don't get involved, don't get involved. Let's see.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's going to make him wait for this head-to-head.
And here they come.
And there you go.
That's what he was looking for. I mean, he's trying to be Conor McGregor. I don't rate that, to be honest. To be honest, it's not a good look.
That was the reaction that everybody had spoke about, who would crack.
Thursday night, Miami Beach, Florida.
Just feels real now, doesn't it? I suppose when you go head-to-head like that, that was always going to happen.
Definitely, but that release of, like, I guess you call it nervous energy that Jake just did. You know, all the bravado, that pulling the arrow or whatever he was mimicking. Why does he do that? What is he overcompensating for? You know, that's what immediately comes to my head. You know, Gib, he's comfortable knowing that he's done the work. He doesn't need to do any of that. Whereas Jake feeling like he needs to scream and shout and do all of that. I don't know. That's not really confidence for me.
Hold it there then. We'll grab you after the main event weigh-in. Let's get over to Michael Buffer.
For the main event of the evening, 12 rounds scheduled for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. Let's bring the fighters to the stage at this time. First, he's the challenger. His record stands at 17 victories, 5 wins by knockout, 2 defeats with 1 draw. He's the Celtic middleweight champion, the Irish national middleweight champion, and the current WBO European champion from Dublin, Ireland, Luke Keeler. Next up onto the stage, the defending world champion. He comes to us from Providence, Rhode Island, USA. He's a former 2-time middleweight world champion and a 3-time world champion. He's the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius Boo Boo Andre.
Here we go, the 2 main event fighters. Luke Keeler's got great support, predictably. The Irish do always back their own. You can see Peter Taylor, that's Katie Taylor's father, right on Luke Keeler's shoulder there.
Luke Keeler. 159.4 pounds for the challenger, Luke Keeler.
Inside the middleweight limit there for Luke Keeler, the challenger.
His last name is pronounced
First attempt at winning a world title. Got to come to Miami, Florida to do it.
Undefeated. He is the reigning and defending undefeated WBO middleweight world champion Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade.
Here's the champion, the WBO middleweight title holder, Demetrius Andrade. Third defense.
Undefeated WBO champion Demetrius.
He's taking a risk. He's giving Luke Keeler the chance. It's a voluntary.
Undefeated.
Luke Keeler's been saying, you've made a mistake picking me. We'll see. And Andrade, someone that doesn't usually engage in too much trash talking, was pretty unhappy with some of the stuff that Luke Keeler had said on Twitter. Let's see if he says anything now.
For the WBO World Middleweight Championship, the third world title fight tomorrow.
Both have got trainers on, but you can see Andrade does have the height advantage there.
Boxing to the UK and on Fight TV. A great night of boxing from Matchroom Boxing USA to celebrate the anxiety and the excitement of Super Bowl week.
Andrade just making a point of trying to stand in front of Keeler there. Keeler just steps to the front of the stage and stands in front of him.
Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade from Providence, Rhode Island, USA.
Well, that concludes the weigh-ins. Let's just get some further reaction with Joe Weller to what you saw there. We didn't think that, well, there was a chance that would happen, and it did. They went head-to-head, and there was a push and a shove, and there you go. Did Jake Paul lose control, or did he know exactly what he was doing there, just trying to get a rise out of seven-figure Gibber?
I think there's a bit of both. You know, he obviously wants to assert himself as the boss. He's a very controlling guy, and I think doing all that those weird movements and wait, was he pulling an arrow? I think that's what he was trying to do.
You said if they would be good if they went to archery. You did say that earlier in the week.
He's heard the archery advice and he's going for it. Now, overall, I think, he's trying to put himself as, I know what I'm doing, but having to exert that extra energy and, scream in his face. He's either seen Conor McGregor videos and he thinks that's going to work for him, or it's that.
Is it not like just imposing his size over Gibber if you stand like that?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the way he celebrated in a way of like, yes, I've done it, I managed to do something. It was like that. It was like a celebration of, a release of energy. Like, I've managed to push him. I managed to do something, because he hasn't got a reaction out of Gib all week.
Yeah.
And I think that's his worry. He's such a controlling individual, is Jake Paul.
That all happened so quickly, though. Did you think that Gib was bothered at all by what happened there?
No, I think naturally, look, if someone's jumping in and headbutting you and doing all this, you're going to defend yourself. It's like almost in that moment, just a reaction of get off. I don't think he was like angered by, I really want to push you back now. It was just a get off, mate, what you doing? You saw in his face, he was like, I didn't want that to happen, but it's happened. Anyway, so I'm now going to carry on. Look, he's not going to be bothered by that. Gib wants to fight, and that's it.
What were you taking away from both of them on the scales? One thing is that Gib is a lot smaller, so therefore packing that weight on, he does naturally look a bit more fleshy. I'm not saying he's not in great shape, because he is. We saw him at the photo shoot. He's ripped, but that weight seems to sit a little bit more naturally on the taller Jake Paul. I don't want to criticise there, but it sounds like I'm having a dig. I'm saying that it just seems to fit the frame of a taller man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could argue, is this Gibbs' natural preferred weight?
Exactly. That's a much better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Obviously the answer is no. Obviously the answer is no.
But basically, Gibbs spars JMX, who's 6'5", weighs way more than him. He spars KSI, who's bigger than him. Everyone he spars is bigger than him. All his sparring partners that are professional have been bigger than him. It's what he does. He doesn't go against people smaller. Apart from, I think one of his early fights, fair enough. Actually, his past two fights have been against guys that aren't massive. But in his training, he's more than used to it. So it's not going to be anything crazy for him, I believe. And here we've got the boys.
Let's have one final feedback from Ethan and Toby. Toby, join us, lads. Yeah. Joe's just had his say on what we saw there. First off, your reaction to what was a fairly spicy head-to-head. I don't know, everything that we saw yesterday, that was almost the polar opposite.
I was about to say, it's probably the most action we've seen fight week.
Yeah.
Most action we've seen come between both of them. I'm tempted to say that the crowd got to Jake, and I think whatever Gib was shouting at him and pointing at him must have got to him, because that was more explosive and out of character than what Jake's done previously. So
what I said to Joe was that planned by Jake Paul, or was that a reaction? And the reason he probably would have planned that is to try and get Gib to bite, or did Jake Paul lose control?
Either way, if it's planned or not, it's Gib in his head. Like, he's having to think, how can I get into Gib's head? Yeah. That means Gib's in control right now, so that's dangerous for him.
What do you make of Gib on the scales? Impressed with what you saw?
Very impressed. Like we said, he's been working very hard with his team. We're not surprised by what we saw, but it is impressive.
Yeah, you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know what Gib carries himself like. I think he's a polar opposite from these guys that look good in the ring or whatever it is. It's not about aesthetics, it's about how you're going to fight on the night. And Jake's come out with his bravado, tried to do some sort of posing, and I think
Joe thought he was pulling an arrow to fire.
We've been talking about archery this week, you see, saying we went into it, and he's come out.
It's been a long week, Ethan, don't
Quite different from the last time round. It's very interesting to see how he's obviously planned this in his head to come out with some sort of stance or something like that, and it's gone the polar opposite from how he probably expected it. And Jake loves to be in control. He weren't in control up there.
You don't think so?
He didn't like what was happening Paul's side, and he didn't like whatever Gib was shouting at him, because he knows he's not controlling this space. He was not in control of that stage, and he loves being in control.
But surely Jake Paul, I know it's different when you're up on the stage, but surely he would have seen all this when you did the events at York Hall, which were like a bear pit atmosphere. These guys aren't, the Pauls aren't intimidated by a crowd shout, are they? Or does it all change when actually that moment, it dawns on you, it's happening?
I think what it is more than anything is the control aspect. When everyone else is, conducting the atmosphere, what everyone thinks, they don't like it, especially Jake. And when Gib, he's all smiles, you can see he's relishing the moment, he's loving it. Jake comes out and you immediately see he's not comfortable. And how does he take that comfort back? He tries to do something else, shouting in his face, and it's overcompensating for something that you clearly are insecure about. I don't think Jake is as confident as he says he is.
What I'd like to throw it back to is, Gib's the guy that screams down the mic. Gib's the guy that jumps on stage. Why is that now mirrored? Come the night before the fight, why is this so out of character from what he's always done before? Standing strong, chest up, silence, whatever it is he's normally doing. Now he's the one trying to, what is he trying to hype himself up for? He's not confident in his own ability, I feel. I don't think he really believes he's got the ability to deal with what's coming tomorrow.
One thing you did say before the weigh-in was that you thought that there may have been rumours that Jake Paul was cutting weight. If there were rumours, I don't know, just to pull it back a bit, he looked like a man that had made the weight very well. Yeah. Agree or disagree?
He looks in good shape. He looks in good nick. But it's about, if he has had to cut down this week, it's about what effect that's played up here. Does he feel groggy? Does he feel a bit cloudy heading into this? Does he feel as full of energy as he actually should? So you never know.
Were you here, or were you with the rest of the side men over there?
I was with the gang over there.
Is that a sign of the noise levels that we're going to have? Great reception for Gib.
100%. It's a shame this event isn't back in the UK, because it would be insane. Like we said before the weigh-in, the UK crowd really appreciates this kind of event so much more, I think, than in the US. So it's a shame that it's not out there, but they're going to be loving it back home, and we're going to be loving it over here.
Right, Toby, I'm going to let you go. One more word from you, Ethan. Thank you for joining us on the stream twice, Toby. Just come in a little bit closer, Joe. We've heard from so many people today, and everyone's picking their man. Mike picked Jake Paul, sorry. He also said that Logan Paul is definitely going to fight again. Everybody else has picked Gib. Yeah. If we were to put this to a poll, do you think that Gib would be the favourite?
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, most people vote on who they want to win. So you see the qualities in the fighter that you want to win, right? So we see, Gib looks so confident. Yeah, he looks great at the weight. Yeah, he's embracing it all. We don't know if secretly he is stressing, and he will be. No matter what, if you're preparing for battle, certain instincts kick in that are going to stress you out. Probably tonight, both of them won't sleep that well. But at the end of the day, I think we all know, in terms of fighting, in terms of bringing the heat, who wants it more? It's Anison Gibb.
But is that booing going to affect Jake Paul at all? Because we talked about how he, fueled probably by the controversy, he's not going to be humbled because it probably doesn't suit his brand, suit him. You know, if you're booed, is it going to matter? He'll probably love that. He probably stood up there and saw the gang cheering. He probably loved it, didn't he? That was what he came here for.
I don't think so. You know, I think these brothers operate in a different way, and when they're not in control of things and it's not going their way, they don't necessarily know how to maneuver their way through that. We saw that in the press conference at York Hall with Logan walking out of it, and I think these guys just are so used to everything going their way that when you have such a support or such like a force or something in front of you that you already know is tough, because Logan couldn't get through JJ. Does Jake have almost sort of flashbacks to his brother's failures and think, well, what if? That's more pressure on him. And then being here in this sort of atmosphere, more pressure again. Like, it's just so out of his control.
There he goes. I think we got Jake Paul coming in.
Jake Paul coming in for an interview.
In a second.
I reckon he's going to get stopped and he's not going to join us. Let's not promise something we can't deliver. Although he looks fairly happy.
It'd be good if we can come in.
I know this is
good to get word to see what all the spite and the reactions are about.
Yeah. Are you going to tell him that you thought that he lost
I
control?
think he lost his head. Yeah, I did think he lost control.
Okay, yeah, we'll tell you that apparently he is going to join us. Let's see. We're ready. Come join us. Come, Logan Paul. Yeah, we're live. Both Paul brothers. How are you doing? Jake, good to see you as well. Jake, I know everyone wants to say hello. We'll start straight over with you.
Yeah.
The head-to-head. What happened?
It's an example of what's going to happen tomorrow night. I'm bringing the fight to him. You know, he tried to butt heads with me, and I fucking threw him across the stage to show him how I showed him how a real push is done. You know, so. He's in for a lot of energy tomorrow and a lot of aggressiveness.
Was that just a natural reaction, or did you plan to try and get a reaction out of him by standing tall?
It's a natural reaction, you know. He tried to like come into me, and I was like, "Get the fuck away from me." So this is the mini version.
I was just about to say, welcome to our stream. Please don't swear. No, you're okay. Just how confident are you now? Have you got a final message for everyone that's watching back home in the UK?
Yeah, no.
Not. I hate the UK. No, your fans in the UK.
No. Yeah, thank you guys for the support. I know there's a lot of fans out there in the UK who support the Paul brothers. I'm gonna put on a show tomorrow night, so make sure you guys are tuned in. And I'm going for that KO.
Do you believe you're going to land a KO?
I think so. I think it's gonna happen. He's got a big head.
Sugar Shane Mosley, you're an absolute legend, man. We'll come to you in a minute. We've got Maverick Logan Paul, so I will just quickly have a quick word with you. Your brother, how proud?
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. I just spoke to him. How proud of him are you, and how confident in him are you?
The most proud I've ever been, and there are no words to describe how confident I am in him. This version of Jake Paul is a person I have never seen in my life before. I've never seen such a charged up, focused human being. I'm his older brother, and I'm scared of this version of Jake.
You've been there and done it, though. You've been a professional boxer.
Yeah.
What can you pass on to him from your experience?
Yeah, nothing's changed. The advice has stayed the same. This will be the third time I've said it, but just don't underestimate Gibb. Like he doesn't look like an athlete. He doesn't fight like a boxer, but he's got a massive fucking heart. He's got a massive heart, and I think he's going to come in and he's going to be relentless. He's very thoroughly well prepared for that, and as long as he doesn't make the same mistake I did, and I think I didn't take JJ as seriously as I should have, I think he's got it locked.
What's your future hold? Are we going to see you in the professional ring again?
Yeah, you absolutely will. It just depends, man. I'm on like a content wave right now. I don't know. I can't say. If the opponent is right, yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back for sure.
If your brother wins, would you?
When?
I know you'll say when. Will he fight KSI, or do you want a third fight with KSI? Would you let him go ahead?
No, yeah, Jay got it. I don't know if KSI will do the fight. I don't know. It's everything's so speculative right now, but absolutely, yeah. That's Jake's fight. That's his legacy. Yeah.
Your final prediction then?
I think third round knockout, Jake Paul.
And just funny, your mum's there. I said in Jake's interview, if the business was right, would you fight your brother professionally? He said, I absolutely would fight my brother.
Yo, he's,
Pam, again, I feel
You don't know
it's
this?
done it too closely.
Jake's been on this wave for the past year. I don't want to do that. But like also, fuck. I mean, what's the bag look like, Eddie Hearn? I don't know. Maybe.
Listen, thank you both for joining us on our stream. Thank you. Shane, can I borrow you for just 30 seconds? Come in here. Absolute legend of world boxing. This is mad though, isn't it? You're involved with this. Just how are you finding this whole experience?
I think it's fun, and I like it. I think that he's bringing a lot of fans to the boxing community, and yeah, he's training hard. He's up in Big Bear training. He's hitting hard. He's fast. He's doing his thing.
You're being taken, so you're going to go. Thank you very much for joining us. Wish you all the absolute best. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting him join us. Thank you. One more. Let me just say. Sorry, have I just broken up a really important business meeting there? Joe, just say goodbye to everyone on our stream. That was a little bit mad. I have to say, if you heard any language that you weren't happy about there and were offended, I do apologise. There were a few curse words, but it's live, and I don't think the pools necessarily understand that people in the UK might be offended by that language, so I do apologise. Joe, before you go, that was a bit mad, wasn't it?
Mad.
Do you really believe everything that Jake Paul just said?
I don't know, because they all say different things. Yeah, one sec. They all say different things. So 1 minute it's like, look, I'm going to do my style and show how I can box. Then he's saying, I'm going to come forward and bring just pure aggression. And then his brother's saying one thing, and then his trainer's saying something else. I just don't see everyone on the same page and on the same wavelength, like in Gibbs' team. So it's like everyone individually has got qualities. They're all saying certain things, but from a team point of view, I feel like Gibb is more sound overall.
Brilliant. You have absolutely talked yourself out. Thank you so much. I know everybody's still commenting, where and when can I watch the fight? If you're watching in the UK, it's Sky Sports main event, 2 a.m. Friday morning, so early hours of Friday morning. Set your alarm. Jake Paul, 7-figure Gibber. Don't miss it. 3 quality world title fights on the bill as well, topped by Demetrius Andrade against Luke Keeler. Sky Sports main event, 2 a.m. Set your alarms. Thank you so much for staying with us. That was delayed, but if you did, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much.